Hi folks, I'm Mike Weber.
Hi, I'm Rita Sharma.
And we're excited to be here and talk to you a little bit about our Health Cloud Spring 18 release. But before we get started, just a reminder, we may talk a little bit about some future functionality, and so please keep in mind that there may be some forward-looking statements and you should make your purchasing and investment decisions based on currently available product. And with that, what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about 3 areas of Health Cloud. We've got assessments, which we're really excited to be able to talk to you about. We've got care gaps, and we've got flexible care plans. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Rita. She's going to take us in a little bit deeper and talk to you then about assessments. So
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being on this journey with us with Health Cloud from the very start. Our customers, our healthcare and life science customers, are all facing the same issues. They have a diverse population, they have different needs, they have different accessibility to services, and they want to be able to provide the best customized service to these patients. That's why we created Health Cloud. Health Cloud is a patient and member relationship management platform. That's how our customers in healthcare and life sciences use this platform to be able to deliver personalized service based on the patient's data right to the patients. I'm super excited to talk to you about assessments. Assessments is a platform that's based on surveys. So Salesforce surveys will be introduced, and if you want to learn more about that, I encourage you to look at the platform Readiness recording that will go through surveys in detail. So what we will do in Health Cloud is take surveys and use it within the Health Cloud platform to deliver the ability to build a survey, to send a survey, and to analyze the survey. Within the Health Cloud context, this will be called Health Cloud Assessments. The platform is very powerful because you can take the data to then trigger really customized care plans for your patients. We not only have a survey builder, we also have the ability to integrate it within Health Cloud. So here you can see the list view of all the assessments that are available to me to send to my patients. And you can also see in the timeline that I've sent a survey to a patient, and I've received a response from them. So with this, let me move into the demo. So now you can see I'm in my Health Cloud console. You can see that I have a set of assessments that are available to send to my patient, and I have the list of assessments that I've already sent to my patient. So in my available to send, I'm able to look here in my drop-down and send this patient my survey in their community. Now let me back up for a second and show you how I built a survey. So I'm now in the survey builder, and I'm going to add a question. I have 5 different question types available to me. I'm going to use a multiple choice question. Again, this is a CSAT survey that I'm building. So I'm going to ask a simple question. How likely are you to recommend this institution that I just created? And I can modify this. You've got the ability to make this have the look and feel that you want it to have. You can create whatever background it is that you want to create. Now I'm going to add in my choices. Okay. I will now save my survey and activate it. I'm going back to my view within Health Cloud. So remember, I have this list of surveys now that are available to me to send. And so let me show you what that experience would look like. Here's my survey as a participant. I've been invited to take a survey. I go here, I quickly take the survey, and I'm done. I could have done this on a mobile device, and in this case, I did this on my computer. So we're very excited about the survey functionality because it's also integrated into the platform. So let me show you that. You'll see that on my timeline view, I can actually see that a survey was sent here. And I have the ability to see when it was sent. Let me go back for a second and show you how that response would look. All right, here we go. And I had a series of questions. All of my responses are right here in the Health Cloud console. So very exciting new feature. With that, let me hand it back over to Mike.
Thank you, Rita. So then now moving on, we'll talk a little bit about care gaps. So with care gaps, we have a new capability with Health Cloud that's all about being able to really focus in on specific issues that patients may be experiencing. So with care coordinators, they're busy folks, they have a lot going on, and they want to be able to focus on the most high value opportunities to intervene with patients. So these care gaps are typically going to be measures such as HEDIS measures, ACO measures, things that organizations are incentivized to really be sure that they're managing from a standard of care perspective. And so what we've introduced with Health Cloud is a new data model and user experience set of components that allow customers, end users, care coordinators to really inside the Health Cloud workflow answer the questions that they need to answer and take action with patients in a very focused manner. So what care gaps does is it introduces a record type on the case that allows us to really focus on what are the aspects of a care gap that need to be addressed, such as the status, what kind of workflow do I want? Do I need to be able to have escalation rules? Things that are very easy to configure with a case record type. And then also the ability to identify the source. So is the source coming from some kind of analytics system that maybe has been purchased separately from Salesforce? Is it a homegrown system internally? And it really allows me to keep track of where did this care gap come from? How do I know what kind of information was analyzed to produce this gap in care that I need to take action on? And so within Health Cloud, you have a list view of what are these care gaps, and let me show you a little bit of what that looks like. So right now I'm in here with Charles Green. I'm taking a look at his console view, and you'll see all the typical features of the console view that you've come to know with Health Cloud. So you have the care plans here, you have the timeline, you have the assessments that Rita just demoed, and household view as well. And then we have this tab here, care gaps. Now, for existing customers, this tab isn't going to show up. This is something that an admin would need to enable. And, but when they do enable it and they tie in a source, an analytics source, to push these care gaps into Health Cloud, they can show up here in, with each patient, such as Charles Green here. And so we see 2 care gaps that have been identified for Charles. I can go ahead and I can edit these. If I want to, I could also dive in and bring up a record detail view, which would open a new sub-tab, very standard, Lightning console behavior for Health Cloud. And I can take the appropriate action with these care gaps as I need to. Now, I mentioned that care gaps don't come by default, and the reason for that is because there still needs to be an analytics engine identifying these gaps and pushing them into Health Cloud. That is not something that is a part of the current care gap feature set. And there are many different analytics tools out there and many partners of Salesforce who can help customers embed analytics and care gap functionality right into the Health Cloud user experience. So with this release, this feature will be available for admins to enable for orgs. And when they do that, it will also, of course, show up here on the left main kind of navigation here for individual patient. So now what I'll go ahead and do is just show you one last piece of this, which is an exciting part of how all of this comes together for partner solutions, which is that when a care gaps engine is integrated into the platform, it's nice to be able to highlight where that's coming from in a visual way. So in this instance, I have 2 internal analytics and HC partner sources. So these don't have logos associated with them, but for customers who do have an outside logo, such as these here, these logos can be mapped in through custom metadata, which is in the admin area of Salesforce, and tied to a specific logo document. So a logo can be uploaded into the documents section, and from that point on, it can be pointed to the appropriate source system. And this is essentially mapping those logos, and at that point, it will show up like you might have seen on these slides here where we have the Einstein logo represented. So there is a way to have multiple logos represented there for different technologies that are all coming together as part of care gaps. So now moving on to our next feature, I also want to talk a little bit about an exciting new usability enhancement to an existing feature, the Care Plan feature of Health Cloud. And what we've done with flexible care plans is very much focused on user experience and efficiency, but also some new capabilities around making it more flexible and also more extensible. So the original 3-level way in which care plans are managed is still there. So you still have problems, goals, and tasks for customers who want to continue to use that model. But what we've learned over time is that there are some organizations that spend a lot of time in a 2-level hierarchy, this goal and task model. So they think of the problem as something that lives separate, alongside, a problem list that's just connected to the patient, not necessarily embedded in the structure of a specific care plan. So both models are now supported. Both models can actually be used in the same org at the same time. So there may be some care plans that have a problem in their hierarchy and other care plans which go straight to goals and tasks. Those can all work together. And the system has been now upgraded to be flexible to support both those models. And then what we've done at the same time, while we were in there making these improvements to care plans, we also included the ability to extend the care plan tabs. And I'll show you that in a moment. And last but not least, we've really just tightened the way in which users can pivot around the data, look at new types of information, filter between open and closed views, things that previously they were always just looking at all of the tasks in a care plan, and now we give them a lot more flexibility in how they organize their screen. So to show you how all that comes together in the application, what I'm going to do really quickly is just jump back over. This is my same Charles Green patient, and I'm going to look at his care plans for a moment. And right now, he has 4 care plans, and I'm just going to focus in on 1 or 2 of them so you can kind of see how this all comes together. So existing customers will be familiar with this layout, and what's changed is that we have really enhanced the information under this Tasks tab. So there's already a Problems and Goals tab for existing customers. There's already a Care Team tab. So what we did is we enhanced all the information here in the Tasks view. We also added a Goals view, and then we made these tabs configurable. So I'll talk about that configurability and the way that you can extend this area last. First, I'll just talk a little bit about those user experience changes. So now, instead of just having a task view that's always the problems, goals, and tasks 3-level hierarchy, here I'm looking at tasks just grouped by goal. So I can see what the goal is, and I can see which tasks are underneath. Right now, this one has all of its tasks closed. So you can see I'm completely done with this one. But now if I go to the next one, I've got 1 task remaining. The other one has been resolved already. So I have a sense of progress right off the bat, and I know where I can drill in. And then if I want to look from a different point of view, for instance, perhaps I want to see who else is working on this care plan. Maybe there are tasks assigned to different team members. I can see all that here. In this case, one of my team members is actually the patient. I'm assigning tasks directly to Charles Green, and he has quite a number and hasn't even gotten started. So he has a lot of work to do. I might need to help Charles with some adherence to this particular care plan. And then I can see that I just have 2 of my 5 tasks done, so I have a few more tasks to resolve too, as a care coordinator, in this case Daniel Garcia. So you can see how this ability to group by different parameters. I could also, of course, group by due date if I wanted to see how the tasks spread across the different dates they're due. It gives me a lot of flexibility with how I want to approach the intervention work with this patient. So now moving on from some of these user experience improvements, I also wanted to come back to this enhancement that we did that allows you to have new tabs here in the care plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just switch windows here. I'm still in the same org, but I've now gone into the admin section. And what I did is I'm actually in a custom setting. So if I were to just come here, you'll see there's a number of custom settings associated with Health Cloud. And the one I'm interested in is this flexible care plan tabs. So if I click Manage here, you can see those tabs that were showing up when I was looking at Charles Green. I have, if I went by sort order, you can see that the first is the Tasks tab. That's the one that will always load by default when I open a care plan. So if I wanted a different tab to load by default, for the user to always land on the goals, for instance. I could do that just by editing the sort order of these different tabs. But what I've done in this case is I've left one new one. You know, if I wanted to create more, I could do that by clicking new here. But I went ahead and created this ahead of time, just a clinical best practices tab. Now, this isn't a real component yet. This is just to demonstrate what you can do and kind of the art of the possible here. But what I could do is I could point this component. You can see that there's a component name. So I could point this to a custom Lightning component that I had developed or I had had a partner develop on my behalf. And if I wanted to, I could simply customize the custom setting here. I could add that custom setting. I would activate this. I'd set the appropriate information here, such as the namespace and the actual component name. I save, and it's that simple. I'm done. Now, if I were to come back and I refresh, and I now open up Charles Green's care plan, you're going to see here I have this new clinical best practices tab. So it's really that simple to expand the scope of what all a case or care plan can accomplish and what types of information can be at the fingertips of a care coordinator. So we're really excited about all of these features, and what it really does for us is it takes care plans kind of to the next level, that an area of feedback that we've gotten from a number of customers, and really kind of support a broader set of models for how to really accomplish the goals that are set up for patients. So with that, I'd like to also just touch base on some resources that are going to be available. And first off, I'd like to just offer to people, don't forget to sign up with the Success with Health Cloud Trailblazer community. It's a great opportunity to see a lot of information from a lot of different partners and customers around best practices. And it's a growing community of everybody with like-minded desire to bring the patient much more to the center of different healthcare use cases, and really to think of all of those different folks. We're all patients at the end of the day. So that's a little look at our flexible care plans feature. We're really excited about what kind of value that's going to bring to a lot of different care coordinators and a lot of different settings. So with that, Rita?
Thank you, Mike. We have a lot of great resources available to you. We will be at HIMSS in March in Las Vegas. We hope that you'll join us in our booth and in our presentations. We also have a phenomenal Trailblazer community that we invite you to join. And lastly, we have a great set of release notes that are available to you now. So please look at all the different resources that are available to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, and look forward to seeing you again with our summer release Readiness coming in another few months. Take care.